Hi, this is Lulu again, and another story in the back of the big book that there's a page out of it that I enjoy is "Acceptance Was the Answer," is the name of the story. The story starts on page 407, but on page 417, the very towards the end of the story, this particular person was like, what he learned by getting sober and doing his step work was that if I can just accept what's going on around me, like, how do you do that? Like my sponsor always told me, like, you can either, like, you go from unable to accept and unable to tolerate, then you start to, like, tolerate things. You just watch yourself shutting your mouth and you're like, oh my God, how did I just not say something just now? And it's like, but tolerating something and managing these thoughts is takes energy. She says, imagine when you don't even have to tolerate something and you're patting yourself on the back for tolerating something. But this is nothing but spiritual growth, and it's a progression. It happens over time. It happens organically. It happens when it happens, as long as you keep in the work and keep doing the work and keep sticking with the book. It will happen for you too. So then the things that you used to tolerate, you watch that once you've just accepted it, then that action of tolerating that is really just going on within. Nobody's really might not even know that you're tolerating, and you're just so excited at the end of the day. Oh my God, I was just ready to say this and I didn't. But once you've accepted that person, whatever they're saying, and your opinion, it doesn't even come to your mind, because it's like, it would be crazy, because my opinion would be, if that was going on with me, your opinion is what's going on with you. And I didn't hear a question mark anywhere. Nobody's asking me. And I don't even know anyway. Like, I think I always know what's best for everybody. Like, I'm not even sure about that anymore, you know? But on page 417, where it says, and acceptance is the answer to all my problems today. Back when this book was published, back in the 1930s, there wasn't like fonts unlimited. You couldn't just go picking all these cute little fonts and stuff. Changing fonts was like a huge deal in the printing process. And anytime you wanted something italicized, you had to pay extra for it. So anytime there's italics in this big book, pay attention, because they paid extra for that. Okay. All my problems today. When I am disturbed, it is because I find some person, place, or thing or situation, some fact of my life unacceptable to me. And I can find no serenity until I accept that person, place, thing, or situation as being exactly the way it's supposed to be at this moment. Nothing, absolutely nothing happens in God's world by mistake. Until I could accept my alcoholism or my food addiction, I could not stay abstinent. Unless I accept life completely on life's terms, I cannot be happy. I need to concentrate not so much on what needs to be changed in the world as on what needs to be changed in me and in my attitudes. The best advice I ever got, when there's something going on that you think needs to be changed, go look in the mirror, because there's something to be worked on, and put your energy into that instead of trying to change the world. Shakespeare said, all the world's a stage and all the men and women merely players. That reminds me of the actors and the directors, back in the step leading up to step 3 in the book, the ballet, setting up the lights and all that. He forgot to mention that I was the chief critic. I was always able to see the flaw in every person, every situation. And I was always glad to point it out, because I knew you wanted perfection just as I did. AA and acceptance have taught me, I love this sentence, that there's a little bit of good in the worst of us and a bit of bad in the best of us, and that we're all children of God and we each have a right to be here. When I complain about me or about you, I'm complaining about God's handiwork. I am saying that I know better than God. How powerful is the end of that paragraph? When I imagined there's a little bit of bad in the best of us, and there's a little bit of good in the worst of us. It's like, you know, there's so much we just don't know. We just don't know. I can just sit here and judge and find the flaws in you and the flaws in life. And bottom line is, I don't know. Who says that? Like, who drilled that through my head was Harlan. I don't know. Just say it. Say it. Say it from the highest mountain. I don't know. And it just humbles me. And I also have written here, there was just some things that came along to me in my 7 years in program that I wrote on this page. The 3 things that I cannot change: the truth, the past, and you. Those are the 3. Anything else? Yeah, let's just, I can get myself involved in things and make changes for me. I can advocate something in the world to maybe promote some change if I wanted to, but I can't change the truth. I can't change the past, and I can't change you. Another thing that I wrote here that came through to me, not came through to me, from somebody else. What is simple for me may be difficult for another. What is fearful for them may not be fearful for me. So any kind of service I think I could be to that person could really be an insult, and listening could be a godsend. Oh, I just love that, because when I think something, well, it's simple for me, it should be simple for you. If I'm like an extrovert and you're an introvert, and I'm just like, just go out there and be engaging and talk to people and do that, it's just like, no, it's like, and if that was my service, would be to say that, to go do that, it would be kind of like insulting, because I'm asking you to basically do something that is not possible for you, and probably not even necessary for you, right? So just listening to you, just being more of a listener. They always say God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. If you listen twice as much as you talk, you probably it might be like that might be a clue. But and what's fearful for you may not be fearful for me. What I might be afraid of might not be something that you're afraid of. So we really can't do a heck of a lot of advising when you really don't know. I don't know, but I just love that page. I love that page. Um, and how do we get to that acceptance? By working the steps, unraveling your own crap, considering that other people might have crap too, and being more sympathetic and empathetic. Once you realize that yours was a bunch of crap, you might have more empathy. And then also working with others and having that just watching to say, like, wow, like, you just seeing how they're not at that level to accept. And uh, and then as that evolves, it's really exciting. And also like the man of 30, and more about alcoholism, and the story more about alcoholism, the man of 30. He's the only one, they don't give him a name, so I call him the man of 30, because there's like Fred and Jim and the jaywalker, and then there's the man of 30. The man of 30, that whole chapter is about relapse, and each one of them relapse for different reasons, because that they give you 3 different examples. And the man of 30 was, he failed to enlarge his spiritual life, and that will be that when you are always working on enlarging his spiritual life, which is step 11, the level of acceptance just gets more rich and more rich. In my experience with myself and with people that have shared with me along the way and people that I've helped. So that's what I got on acceptance.
I'd love to share a couple thoughts if I may. I'm Chalice, a compulsive eater and food addict. And thank you, Lulu. As I was listening, another version of the Serenity Prayer popped into my head, and it goes like this. God grant me the courage to accept the people I cannot change. Oh my gosh, my mind totally just went blank. I'm sorry. God grant me the serenity to accept the people I cannot change, courage to change the one I can, and the wisdom to know it's me. And that one is just basically encompasses what the steps help me to get to. That all the things that I needed to change or thought needed to change in the world were totally, they're fine. Everything else is fine. It's in my own mind and my own behaviors where the change needs to take place. And I love on page 418 where it says acceptance has been the answer to my marital problems. And it's as though AA has given me a new pair of glasses. And I love that so much. That's step 4 through 9. 4 through 9 is where I took off the glasses that were basically showing me the world upside down and backwards. And it's not a pretty view. It's not a pretty view. It's not fun. So just really grateful for that. And what does acceptance feel like? What does that feel like? It doesn't feel like I'm fighting something anymore. Acceptance isn't like, oh, well, I guess I'm going to just have to accept that that person is a jerk. You know, that's not acceptance. Like, they're never going to change. That's not it. To me, acceptance feels like neutrality, like where I came with the food and where I was fighting that and like, oh my gosh, maybe I could have this or do this, da, da, da. And it's when I stopped fighting and put that down, realized what the problem really was. And I just felt neutral. And that's for me what acceptance feels like. Do I feel acceptance all the time? No, that's why I have step 10. That's why I have step 10. That's why I have step 11. That's why I have step 12. But yeah, anyway, thank you. Thanks for sharing your thoughts on this, Lulu. And is there anything else you want to add? Okay.
Yes, I love how you brought up that paragraph, because that paragraph is amazing. It's worth expanding on. Acceptance has been the answer to my marital problems. It's as though AA has given me a new pair of glasses to see your spouse, right? So Max and I have been married now for 35 years. Prior to our marriage, when she was a shy, scrawny adolescent, I was able to see things in her that others couldn't necessarily see. Things like beauty, charm, gaiety, and a gift for being easy to talk to, a sense of humor, and many other fine qualities. It was as if I had, rather than a Midas touch, which turned everything to gold, a magnifying mind that magnified whatever it focused on. And over the years, as I thought about Max, her good qualities grew and grew. And we married, and all of these qualities became more and more apparent to me, and we were happier and happier. But, you know, it's being an addiction where right there where it says that magnifying mind, it magnified whatever it focused on. And that's the key sentence in that paragraph. What am I focusing on? You know? Yeah. I just working with somebody that's working on a turnaround on her mom, and it's just like, you know, this whole list of awful things. And so for days and days we're talking about these awful things and unraveling all these awful things. And then at the end of it, I was like, I would like you to send me a list of everything that your mother did right. What did she do right? Let's just see if anything comes up. I said, break it down into decades, the decades of your life. Like if you can remember specifically those times in your life. Oh, the most beautiful lists of wonderful, nurturing, nourishing, motherly things. So through all the crap, it's like, yeah, let's let's focus on this, you know? And I was like, Mother's Day is coming up. If I were you, I would write that list in a little card and say, these are just some things that I'm recalling from my experience with you. And anyway, it's really cool. And that just reminded me of it when you brought that up. Thank you for bringing that paragraph up. It's a good one.